on a formula which considers your income in 2020, how many dependents you have, and what the Franchise Tax Board knows about you. So, if you already got a Golden State stimulus check last year by direct deposit, your stimulus will come to you between October 7th and 25th. Everyone else will get their direct deposit between October 28th to November 14th, so long as their banking information.
A very big important day is coming up for many Americans. Democrats and Republicans are finally coming together to propose new legislation. Several proposals have been proposed in Congress, and these new plans will provide low-income households with at least one bonus stimulus check. After nearly 100 consecutive days of falling gas prices, fuel costs have spiked in recent weeks, and this time, the price increase coincides with the lead up to the midterm elections, and the trend could determine which party gains control of Congress. The approval rating of President Biden, which is an indicator of Democrats' election prospects, has also tracked closely with gas prices. In conjunction, within months, long falls in prices from their summer peak, Biden's approval has surged. And since the increase in prices took hold 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden has risen 1.1 percentage points in approval ratings. Joe Biden also announced moves that aim to address the oil supply shortage behind the cost spike, including a scheduled release of millions of barrels of oil from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But the price of gas and the recent movement of that price varies dramatically across key midterm states, in some states like New Hampshire and Pennsylvania. Prices have already been increased or even fallen over the last month. In Arizona, a swing state host to highly contested races for governor and senate, the price of a gallon of gas stands at $4.40, a figure roughly 15% higher than the national average of $3.82. According to AAA, moreover, the price of gas in Arizona has risen more than 8% over the past month. In Wisconsin, where a high-stakes Senate race could determine which party holds a chamber, the price of a gallon of gas stands at $3.67 a gallon. While that price falls below the national average, it reflects a recent surge of more than 5% over the past month. To address the gas prices, the Democratic candidate, the state lieutenant governor, says on his campaign that he would end government subsidies for oil and gas companies, which he claims have enabled high profits. And the state with the highest gas prices could determine which party remains control of the House of Representatives. Gas prices in California stand at $5.83 a gallon, which puts the average national, which puts the price about 52% higher than the national average. That price has spiked nearly 8% over the past month. In responding to these increases, various members of Congress introduced bills to send direct aid to families to bring down gas costs. Mike Thompson, John Lauren, and Layson Underwood all released a proposal, everybody, that would offer a $200 gas credit for $100 to qualifying households who live in areas where the average price of a gallon of gas is over $4. Representatives Larson said in a statement that the crisis is putting a strain on our economy, and I am proud to be working to introduce this legislation to provide middle-class Americans with monthly payments to ease the financial burden of this global crisis. And after the details of the proposal were made public, Joe Biden announced that the U.S. would move to have 1 million barrels of oil released from the nation's strategic reserves. The additional supply that has been flowing into the market has helped to bring down costs. Supply chain disruptions occur. Crude oil prices have also started to increase once again. The Stop Gas Price Gouging Tax and Rebate Act, introduced by Congressman Peter DeFazio, would implement a windfall profit tax on excessive corporate profits and return the revenue to American consumers in the form of a tax rebate. Last quarter, all major gas companies recorded higher profits, much greater than was seen over the same period last year. The profits made over these time periods in 2022 exceeded 110% of their average from last year, and it will be taxed at the rate of 50%, and the funds collected by the IRS, everybody, will be redistributed back to taxpayers. But folks, I hope that President Biden sends out more stimulus payments very, very soon, because more people need stimulus checks. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments.
Is held by the Franchise Tax Board. Those who receive stimulus debit cards will get another debit card mailed to them between October 25th and December 10th. All other recipients will get a debit card by mid-January of next year. All of this will pour nearly $10 billion into the California economy. In order to get some public opinion, we came to the farmers market at the Marin Civic Center where lots of folks are shopping to avoid inflation by buying direct from the farmers.
It's probably not enough, and it's probably not in time, but I do appreciate something to help out, especially with the gas. And
Now, Indiana will see another increase in state gasoline taxes starting July 1st amid promises of inflation relief, including a proposal to issue direct payments to Indiana residents later this month. The state's residents will pay 60 cents per gallon in taxes on gasoline. This is another jump from June's record high 60 cents per gallon tax. And fuel costs were expected to continue to rise in July, and the gas tax increase emerged along calls from Indiana Democrats since March to suspend the tax to aid residents feeling the worst inflation in 40 years. Governors everybody are taking big action to help Americans that are experiencing financial situations and difficulties right now. There is a big update. The Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Minnesota urged President Biden to pause the federal gas tax, just months after declining to pause her own state's gas tax. Governor Whitmer penned a letter to Biden asking him to work with Congress to temporarily pause the tax, a move that would save Americans 18.4 cents per gallon at the pump. The letter came after the president told reporters he was weighing whether to pursue such a policy. Governor Whitmer said in the letter, "Getting this done would save families money right now, as Americans bear the brunt of inflation and face rising prices on everything from groceries, childcare, rent, and other critical expenses. The federal government has the ability to reduce the prices and put more money into their pockets. Getting this done will offer real relief without compromising the federal government's ability to make infrastructure investments." Now, Whitmer vetoed legislation in April that would have paused Michigan's 27 cents per gallon gas tax. The Michigan governor said at the time that the tax was important for funding infrastructure projects statewide. Governor Whitmer vowed instead to work on the solutions like cutting Michigan's 6% sales tax on gasoline purchases. Republican state representatives also said after Whitmer's veto that with rising prices hammering family budgets, especially at the gas pump and the grocery store, people will need and deserve some help. Lowering taxes is one of the quickest ways and most effective ways to provide financial relief. Instead of blocking legislature's efforts, the governor should be working with us to help people in Michigan in their time of need. According to AAA data, the average price of gas nationwide fell to $4.97 per gallon after hitting an all-time record high of $5 a gallon last week. Over the weekend, multiple reports indicate that the Biden administration is considering a couple of options. A new stimulus plan to address rising gas prices. According to the Washington Post, Biden said he would make a decision on a gas tax holiday by the end of the week. This would reportedly save Americans. Rebate cards were also considered months ago, and according to another report from the Washington Post, the cards are now being reconsidered as well. Due to gas tax holiday is likely, the U.S. chip shortage will probably make it hard to produce enough cards for everybody. The IRS says it is climbing out from the unprecedented stack of tax returns that piled up after the agency had to scale back its operations and close facilities.
Get a kid into a child care facility if you are lucky enough to find that slot available, because there are many parts of this country where it's very, very hard to find affordable, quality childcare. So this issue of childcare or pre-K is a major issue that we have got to work on, because these little kids are the future of our country, and we cannot continue to treat them and their parents the way we currently do. So yes, overall, we have got to work towards creating the best educated workforce in the world, one that prepares